All right. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to our Top Tier Talk meeting for December 6th. I guess the countdown to Christmas has begun. We a couple of things we want to talk about here today. A big part of it was given to us by our member, Vicky, who wanted to kind of have us talk about a day in the life and talk about different things that you can be doing to generate business. So we will talk about that. I'm incorporating some graphics into our slideshow here. But the first thing I just wanted to mention, next Wednesday, so not in 2 days or 3 days, whatever, but next Wednesday is our last live webinar of 2021, December 15th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This is for your prospects and your leads. Okay, so you want to invite them. There is Swipe Copy. We were just talking about that. There is Swipe Copy that you can use on the training site that to invite your prospects if you don't feel like writing your own emails. Also register and attend yourself. That's something I say it every time. Nobody ever does it, but if you're somebody that wants to make money with this business, using the live webinar as a major tool is a big part of it. So do with it as you wish, but if you can get prospects to attend, there's a really good chance that they will buy. Okay. So let's talk about a day in the life of an LCG rep, talking about money-making activities. And, I'm just going to go down through this list. And if anybody has any questions, don't raise your hand. We kind of talked about this last week, but don't click that raise hand button. We probably won't see it. Just unmute yourself and ask away. But, the first money-making activity, obviously, is advertising, right? This is something that most people don't do enough of. And there's ways to do it for cheap or free, Craigslist, honestly, is probably the cheapest effective way that we've found to be able to do it, with paid advertising. Solo ads can be hit or miss. We do have some recommended sites on the training site. And then, social media, if you're somebody that has a social media following that maybe isn't just your close friends and relatives. So I don't recommend spamming those people, but if you have social media contacts that maybe aren't your close friends, but they're your social media friends, feel free to use them as well, maybe through direct messaging and that type of thing. Don't just spam your whole group of friends. That's never a good idea. You're always sending people to a lead capture page so that you can capture their name and their email address and maybe their phone number if they put it in there. Utilizing our sales funnels that we provide. You can also use the appointment funnel. We talked about this either last week or the week before. It never hurts to send people, with the appointment funnel, you're talking to them before they've actually seen the presentation, before they know what the business model is, before they know how much it costs, right? You get to build some sort of a little bit of rapport with them. So there's definitely advantages to doing it that way. Our marketing system, our contact management system, shows scores for lead activity, whether they're clicking emails or clicking links in the emails or whatever it is, going to websites, they're going to generate scores, and the higher scores typically mean that the person's more interested than the person with the lower score. So we recommend calling leads with the higher scores, maybe 10 or above. What do you think, John, as far as scores are concerned?
Yeah, it depends though too. If you've got 40 leads in your back office and their scores are between 1 and 6, I'd still call the top ones of your average, because it depends.
Right. Yeah. If you're sitting on just a few, like John said, for sure. But then as you start to build up into the hundreds and thousands, then you're going to focus on the ones with the higher scores. Yeah, sending broadcast emails. The system allows you to send a broadcast email. What a broadcast email is an email that you type up that you're going to send to your entire autoresponder list all at the same time, right? So, if you have 1,000 leads, you type up the email, boom, it goes to 1,000 leads. We recommend at least 3 times a week sending broadcast emails to your list. This is in addition to the more, generic autoresponder emails that they're receiving on either every day or every other day.
And this is where it's fun to be creative, people, because, it's coming up to be Christmas. A subject area might be, say, Joe, how would you like to make an extra 10 grand before the end of the year? That's a nice subject area that would probably get some people to open it up. And then, you write some email and put a link in there. Now, when you put the link in there to review the business, since they're already in your back office, this is a mistake I see people do. They keep sending them back to their capture page. You don't want to send them to your capture page. They've already been captured. So that's where those other subdomains come in. So you want to send them directly maybe to the actual on-demand webinar, our main page, which is page 74. And if you set it up properly with your sponsor, that's probably webinar dot or tour dot or whatever the subdomain they set up, but send them to that, because people don't want to go put their name and info every time you send out an email. So be careful about that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of our competition do that too. It's weird because I'm not going to keep entering my information. I'm on other people's lists just to kind of get ideas and see what else is going on. And so a lot of people make that mistake. So that's a really good point. So you definitely want to do that. And I made this list in no particular order. Recording personalized videos is completely optional. Most people don't do it and will never do it, quite frankly. But, it's something that can add to your arsenal, if you will. In this business, it's a very people-oriented business, right? Nobody's going to send you $1,000, on the low end to $10,000 on the high end without feeling that they at least sort of like you and feel like they can trust you and feel like you can help them. Those are big, big points to making sales in this business. And, recording videos allows you to humanize you, a little bit more than just emails or websites can do. So,
and Loom is free up to 5 minutes. And so that 5 minutes is a long time. You can easily put a quick video together and say, hi, everybody, just want to wish you all a happy holiday season. If you'd like to make more income, give me a holler, check out the business, and you're done in 30 seconds. But that video, like Steve said, makes you more human and creates rapport, and they start to get to know you. I know I've got several people like Steve does that I follow them and I get their emails all the time. And 70% of them have videos in there. So I really feel like I know these people. I know how they look. I've seen them on the beach. I've seen them in their car sometimes. I've seen them at home. I feel like I know these people and I have never met them,
It's pretty powerful, and I don't use it to its fullest extent, to be honest. John's right. We all go to YouTube videos, and we all have our people that we, our videos that we follow or we like to watch, and you really do get to feel like you know these people. It's crazy, so Loom lets you do that. It's a Chrome extension. I believe you have to use Google Chrome to be able to use it, but it is free, and it allows you to record up to 5-minute videos for free. Above and beyond that, I'm paying $10 a month, but I'm going to switch over. I think it's $89 for the year, something like that. So if you pay for the year, it's even cheaper. So consider that. Even if you're kind of shy, consider it. Loom will actually host the videos too. You can send people right to the link on Loom if you don't want to download it and then upload it to your YouTube channel. Let's see, work on your ability to speak with prospects. Yeah, you know, being able to speak with prospects is important. You don't have to feel like you know everything, right? And know all the answers and all that stuff. But, you know, you want to consistently work on your ability to speak with prospects. How do you do that? By speaking with prospects. Usually that's the best way. You know, and if you're using the appointment funnel, right? And in all honesty, we used to only work this business speaking to people up front, right? We rarely sent people straight to the website. You know, it was always either send them to an 800 link number or send them to the appointment funnel where you needed to talk to them. And back in the day, that's how we did it with voice broadcasting too, before that became illegal. You know, so you really, you know, within 2 weeks of being in the business, you were really good at talking to prospects because that's all you did. I mean, that was the only way that we did it really to make money or to make sales. But yeah, you know, and nobody likes to do it. You know, I'll be honest, nobody likes to talk to prospects, especially I can't stand that initial call. I don't know why, but I just can't stand it. But, you know, it's a necessary evil. And the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with it, and the more you get better and improve your skills at it, you know. And use our script. That's what the script is there for, is to make you feel comfortable in the beginning until you feel comfortable enough to kind of put everything in your own words. That type of thing.
And one thing that can put it in perspective is, let's say you have a regular job, you're working 40 hours a week. You know, you have a job description and you have to go in and do that. And after a while, just because you're doing it over and over again, you get competent at it. And if you don't, you're probably going to get a warning. And if you still don't, you're probably going to get let go. Well, you're your own boss in this. And one of the job descriptions is talking to people. And one of the ways to motivate yourself to pick up that heavy phone is think, if you had a regular job, you can't really do anything during the day that's going to increase your income. You're either on a salary, you're making $1,200 a week, or, you know, 25 an hour or whatever. It doesn't matter what you do during the day, unless you're in sales and commissions, that's it. But in this business, you should think of, okay, I've got these 10 people to call that have a score of 10 or 15. Instead of making the phone heavy, think about picking up that phone and thinking that every one of these people you talk to potentially is worth a minimum of $1,000, all the way up to 10,000. And so, you know, okay, I'm going to call 10 people today. And that's a potential, of course, if everyone bought a $1,000 membership of $10,000. But that used to always excite me compared to other types of gigs, knowing that I could literally just have a conversation with somebody, set up a 3-way call or do an intro and just talk to him, find out about his background and kind of establish a little rapport. And this could lead to $1,000 or more. And after a while, that gets you a really, I think it should get you really excited. And if it doesn't, you're probably not in the right business.
Yeah, and we're not saying cold call people. You know, we're saying, you know, these are people that have either left you a voicemail message or have scheduled an appointment, you know, an initial appointment with you. So this is not cold calling. Now, cold calling is an option, right? Both John and I have a lot of leads. You know, if you want leads to call, well, I'm speaking for John, but you can certainly contact me and I'll give you some leads, you know, to call. And if nothing else, they're free and they help you with your phone skills, you know, so, you know, feel free to do that as well. Yeah, real quick, because we've talked about this, but use Calendly or Schedule Once for appointments. Okay, make sure your marketing system is integrated with one of them. Okay, how do you know if it's integrated? Well, your button's going to appear on your website that allows people to schedule an appointment with you. Okay, if there's no button there, you're not integrated. And there's a video that walks you through it on under the resources tab, you'll see it. Booking three-way calls, particularly if you're new. Again, we talked about this recently as well, but it's a money-making activity. What's a three-way call? It's after the person has reviewed the webinar and the website, and they have questions. Okay, that's a three-way call. You want to book those with your sponsor. That's part of your sponsor's job responsibility. Let's see. Most of your time will be. Oh, yeah. I put this there because Vicky had asked how much time, should she be spending on the business. And that's a good question. And honestly, I mean, just the mechanics of it. Placing ads takes literally minutes, right? Once you know how to do it. The first time may take a little bit longer, but whether you're placing a Craigslist ad or a solo ad or whatever other thing you're doing, unless you're recording a video. If you're recording a video, that's going to take a little bit longer. But for the most part, advertising costs are not, or advertising time is not that much. Your time is mostly going to be spent calling, new leads who ask to be called back. Booking three-way calls if you're lucky enough to have people that are interested and they want to, get their questions answered. And then when you make sales, helping your new members, that's where most of your time comes in. So, starting out your time, you're not going to be super duper busy. So if you're working a full-time job, I was talking to a guy on the team last week or 2 weeks ago, and I mean, his hours are just insane, right? So I'm like, he doesn't get home till like 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, well, that's too late to call people. You can't really book all your appointments at 8 and 9 o'clock at night. That's not going to work. So then you got to suck it up and work on a Saturday. If you want to make a go with this business and your hours are that crazy during the week, you're going to have to work on a Saturday, because you need to have time to return phone calls. It's just kind of comes with the territory. But we always say 1 to 2 hours a day. That's like at the most, honestly. Unless you're creating websites and sales funnels yourself and you're doing all these things, or unless you're spending enough money on advertising that you're generating 5, 6, 7, 8 appointments a day, which nobody is doing really. It's more spare time. A few hours a week should be enough to get you going. And yeah, this was another specific question. Can you automate the business more? I'm sure you can. I know what I know. So yeah, I'm sure you could automate it more. You could hire somebody to make those calls for you. You could, you could set up bots on Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. I just don't know how to do it, So, the automation that we have is our sales funnel, lead capture page going to a sales presentation, that type of thing. So the selling process is automated. You can't automate talking to people because it's just, nobody's going to send you money without talking to you at first. That's just, unfortunately, that's just how it is, right? So I don't really know how much more you can automate.
Yeah, you could. I know there's some people in these types of businesses that find really inexpensive ways to outsource various parts of this business overseas and things like that. I've never personally done it. Steve said he hasn't personally done it, but I know people that do that in similar businesses. So you could research that, but I wouldn't even want to pay anybody overhead until, you've got the sales thing down and you've got enough people coming in. You don't want to hire somebody and don't have any leads coming in and stuff,
Yeah, well, that's not fair to if you hire somebody to call your leads, you better have leads.
Yeah.
I know I did that years ago. I think Michael and I partnered and went in on training this one person, and they were just going to be kind of a caller for us, and we just couldn't. We didn't have enough leads to give her, to keep her busy enough to not go get a job.
Of course, you could buy a bunch of purchased leads, buy 300 or 400 leads from our back office site or one of the other ones that are on the training site, 400 or 500 leads, interviewed leads, or cheap leads or whatever, and then have somebody, you'd have to train that person on how to call them and do a 5-minute interview.
That's the thing, you got to train them. So it's a challenge. It's not as easy as just finding somebody on Craigslist and telling them you'll give them $10 an hour or something like that.
Yeah, because they're not going to do it for commission only. They're going to want to get paid for their time. Maybe you could give them $10 an hour, and then maybe 10% of any sale to get them excited about it. So if that lead that they talk to turns into a $1,000 sale, you give them extra $100, and that keeps them happy.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we have some more. John, these are ones you added.
Right. Any business or endeavor can be managed by looking at its statistics. Case in point, if you've ever watched football, my heavens, they have statistics. I mean, last night something came on the screen. Whenever this quarterback was ahead 10 points at 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, he was 15-0 as far as winning. I mean, that was such a sub statistic, I couldn't believe it. But the point is, your main statistics in this business are the number of leads generated, however you did it, whether it was Craigslist, a magazine ad, or you purchased the lead, or it's a warm market, it's still a lead for you to call. So how many leads you have available during the week, that's an important statistic that you should kind of track. If last week you had 0, and this week you had 10, and the week after you had 20, well, that's a trend. You're getting more and more leads, Of course, another one would be, how many 3-way calls did you make this week with your sponsor? If you generated 50 leads and you had 0 3-way calls, that would tell you something. That would tell you that you're either not contacting any of those leads, or they're not turning into anybody who's interested, or maybe you're making your own 3-way calls. I don't know, but that's another statistic to measure, is how many leads you generate, how many 3-way calls you're doing every week. You could staticize how many manual email blasts did you make, like Steve suggested, a minimum of 3. One's better than none. That's something you could staticize. Of course, the ultimate statistic is how many sales and what's your income. So I don't have old school like graphs posted on the wall, but regular big Fortune 500 companies have computer screens all over the place. And before computer screens, they used to have graphs all over the wall, and you could walk into a room and have a meeting, and the guy'd be with the clipboard, and he would be talking to the heads of the departments, and he'd say, hey, look, you're supposed to be producing this, and you're only producing this, So that's what it means, managing your business. Just keeping it in your head is not as good as having these statistics. So, with the day of the computer, there's all kinds of free computer programs that, I think even Word has them all built in, where you can staticize. And so I would make sure you understand how many leads you're generating every month. You could make a substat of that, is how many Craigslist are you doing? When I was working Craigslist heavily, I took out 3 ads a week times 4. That's about 10 to 12 ads a month. And I would know that that would generate maybe 30, 40, 50 leads. Then I would staticize how many of those after my interviews with them, how many opted in, and then what were my sales. And my goal was always to make 3 to 4 sales a month. So that's how you use statistics in this business. So you don't just sort of wing it productions. You got to know what you're doing and how the business is working, because otherwise you can't reinforce strong points or get rid of your weak points. So if somebody comes to me and says this business isn't working, but they want it to work, and I had a meeting, like a debug session, the first thing I would do is say, all right, so how many leads in the last 3 months did you generate? How many leads opted in? And how many three-way calls did you do and how many sales? So if I work backwards and the guy's saying the business doesn't work, I have 0 sales, and I start working backwards, invariably, every single time, I will find out some extreme weaknesses in those other statistics. You know, one guy was with me 7 months and he generated 10 leads in 7 months and he was complaining. It's like, really? I mean, come on. So that's important. Start looking at your main statistics and try to increase them. Number 2, if you don't really have a strong why you're in this business, I don't think you'll have the strength to handle rejections and slumps and things, because this is a business like any business. Unless you bought a business that's already smoking, like if you bought a restaurant that already had, you know, $100,000 a month income and steady clients, well, you're going to pay a lot of money for that business because it's up and running. Whereas if you start a restaurant from scratch, you're going to have to generate customers and start from scratch. And usually it takes a lot of money of investing. And you better have a strong why that you're in that restaurant business. You know, maybe it's because you love Italian food, and whatever the case is. So in this business, even if it's only a money why, if your money why is $6 grand a month, which is 72 grand a year, and you feel 72 grand a year will give you the lifestyle for you and your family to live, then that why should be written down, posted somewhere. And if I were you, I'd look at it every day before you start working this business, because that'll give you strength. If you don't have a strong why, a lot of people just get bummed out with this business, because especially if they're not used to sales. Because I know a couple car salesmen, you know, imagine standing around at the Mercedes dealer or the Hyundai dealer or the whatever. And, you know, that's why it's like when people walk in the door, they jump on you half the time. There's 7 salesmen. Well, can I help you? I mean, they're all over you because they're trying to get 30 sales in a month just to make decent income. And, you know, they're depending on that walk-in traffic. And if they don't love what they're doing and have a good why, they're not going to last very long. So, you know, whatever your why is, maybe you want that second home. Maybe you want to bring your wife home so she can stay with the kids. Or maybe it's just that you want to travel. Whatever it is, I would review that, make sure it's very strong and look at it. And then lastly, positive affirmations do help your mindset. And affirmations aren't goals. Like, for example, a goal is, I'd like to make 10,000 a month. Well, that's great. That's better than not having a goal. So if you manage your statistics, have a strong why, and your goal is to make 10 grand a month, that's pretty good. But an affirmation is above a goal. An affirmation is a statement of having achieved something already, even if you haven't, because it's for your mindset. So example, let's say your goal was 10,000 a month. To convert that to an affirmation, you would say something like, I'm a successful lifestyle consultant rep who consistently earns 10,000 a month. That's an affirmation or a postulate or a statement of fact. Now the mind will push back and say, well, that's a lie. You don't make 10,000 a month. Well, not yet, but it's not a statement of a fact in the physical universe. It's a statement of a fact in your mental mindset universe. So once you and your subconscious believe that $10,000 a month is possible, you do that by stating it multiple times a day. After a while, you start believing in it. And some people say that the universe starts complying, let alone you start believing it. And, you know, if you start believing something and you have a strong why in that something, you'll end up doing some of the things that you need to do to make it a reality. So I've got several affirmations in all of my different fields because I'm a musician as well. I'm an author, I'm a lifestyle consultant rep. So I write down those different hats that I wear, and I have several affirmations in each one that sometimes I go so far. I haven't done it lately because I've been going through some life situations, but record my own voice on my iPhone. And I listened to it. One time I made a loop for about a half hour of this one affirmation. And then at night, I put my phone on, hit the button, and as I fall asleep, this affirmation is being repeated over and over again. Because I read this book once. If you're going to fall asleep, do you want to fall asleep worrying about stuff and having this negative mindset, which is not good? Or would you like to fall asleep with something really good and positive? And so an affirmation recorded in your own voice can be very, very effective in getting your mindset on the right track. Steve?
Yeah, that's good stuff. I don't know if I'd want to go to sleep listening to my voice over and over again, though.
Well, it's just
no, I know that's yeah, no, that's good stuff. And I'll tell you, for me, having a clear, strong why, that we always talk about a why. I mean, honestly, when I got into this industry, my why was just to make money. I didn't have a clear necessarily like anything specific other than, I guess, I wanted to make money and be able to live,
But you knew that money would create a certain lifestyle subliminally, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I wanted to get back to where I was in the mortgage industry before the collapse. Yeah, absolutely. And I saw this industry as a way to do that. Even though it has a high failure rate, I didn't let that deter me. And, and it worked out. I think that, yeah, I mean, your why can be just that. When you're working in a regular commission job, like when I was in mortgages and yeah, that's the most recent one anyway. Part of people's why is the fear of getting fired. Okay, because you got to hit quotas and you got to, you want to get the manager off your back and keep the manager off your back and that type of thing. And so fear can motivate people, like the car salesman or whatever. I mean, that can be part of the motivation. Well, here, that's not a fear. You don't have a manager. You don't have anybody holding you accountable except you. So it's a little different from that standpoint. So, you got to, either you're naturally self-motivated or you need to become self-motivated to be able to, pursue your goals and to stay on track and keep doing these things that are they're proven to make you money in this business if you do them and you do them consistently and you do them even when they're not working and you do them even when it seems like, everybody's saying no or nobody has money. And I mean, and this is general sales as well. You just keep doing these things. You keep advertising, you keep talking to prospects, you keep sending them through the sales funnel. And however you do it, and if you think of kind of cool ways to automate it or whatever, please let us know. But, the way we know how to do it, it works. We're not telling you it works and it doesn't work. It works, and we know it works because it worked for us, right? So, just keep at it. If you're doing it part-time, keep at it part-time, just don't forget about the business. This is what happens to a lot of people, right? They get a couple of no's or they don't make a sale in their first week or two, and they're just like, nah, I'm just going to keep going to work and whatever. And it's fine. And they don't have a super strong why. They're just hoping that they could make some more money. And, then they just back burner it really fast. And then they end up either quitting or just never working it again, or maybe coming back in a year and, oh yeah, I think I'm going to work this again. But they're never going to make money with it, so stick with it. Stay motivated when you, when it's the right time for you. Stay motivated and stay on a path to, follow these things, and you'll make money. You will.
All right.
Sorry, I was rambling there at the end. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap this baby up?
Yes, I do. So what I was saying was, okay, so what is your typical, like say you're successful. So what is your typical day like when you get up? When do you run your advertisements? Um,
Okay.
Stuff like that. Tell us that.
Well, these are all the things that we do, but we put
Okay.
down.
Yeah. I mean, as far as time is concerned, I always go for a jog in the morning. You know, but I get up early, you know, relatively early anyway, 6 o'clock. I don't know if that's early or not, but yeah, get up early. I usually place ads. Well, when I'm placing a Craigslist ad, I usually do that in the evening. Okay, so that's going to be, you know, after dinner times. You know, no specific time, but just after dinner time. And the thinking there is that people will see the ad if they're searching around after they eat dinner, right? They're home, they're not at work anymore, and they're kind of looking for something. Or people will see it first thing in the morning. You know, so that's the thinking there. You know, you can place them in the morning too, but I personally do them in the evening.
I do too.
Solo ads you can order whenever, you know, so that doesn't matter. Same thing with a lot of this other stuff. Broadcast emails I usually send at night. I don't know if that's the best time to send them. That's just when I send them usually. I'm always messing around with videos and that kind of thing. So, but that's just, you know, during the day or whatever. You know, I let people book calls with me 9 to 5 or 10 to 5. I think I have it set up for 10 to 5. Monday through Friday. I don't like to work weekends and I don't like to work nights, but you can set those schedules up however you like to work. And, you know, I get a couple of appointments a day typically. You know, it's not like people are booking me, you know, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't happen with this business really. You know, a couple a day and, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So how much am I really working this business? Maybe it's 2 hours a day, you know, maybe.
Yeah, it also
Okay.
depends. It depends on if you already have a day job, then you're going to have to organize your time where you're going to put that hour and a half, 2 hours in at one time. But I'm home all day. I know Steve's home all day because I do music and other things. So I don't have really a set time every day that I work this business, but I work the business. So at night, you know, I'll go, oh, it's Sunday. I'm going to take out 2 ads tonight. And I'm going to send an email blast, and you know, then maybe I go to bed or watch a movie, and then when I get up, I do various things, and then this business here, if I'm going to work it, I see if I have any appointments from the 800 link that called me, or from my appointment link, and then I'll say, okay, I think I'm going to call these people back now, and then I'm going to go work out. So it's a little relaxed because I don't have a day job, so I can be a little flexible when I work this business and when I don't work the business. But if I add up all the time, it's probably 1.5 hours or 2 hours a day.
Yep. And then obviously some of it, if you're newer or whatever, can be spent on training yourself, you know, going over past top tier talks on the, you know, on the resources, under resources page, or, you know, going over the script if you've never seen it before, or, you know, checking out any of the other advertising strategies that we have on the site. Plus, you can always Google, you know, and it's amazing what you can find on the internet, you know. So you can, you know, I don't claim to know everything. John doesn't claim to know everything. There's ways to do things that we don't know about, you know, but you can find them on YouTube or Google. And, you know, so, you know, some of my time is spent doing that, you know, researching other ways to advertise or whatever. And, you know, that should be something that you guys are doing as well. All right. We kind of went long here, so let's wrap it up. Good questions. Thanks for participating. Thanks for showing up. Hopefully this was helpful in clarifying some things for everyone. Yeah, make it a great week. Let's make some money.
Thank you.
All right, guys, take
All
care.
right. Take care.